Great to be with you on this Friday afternoon. It's 12:46. This is Derby Day Eve. And of course, there's a big race up there in Sydney these days on Derby Day. It's the Golden Eagle, and Dean Evans, who's been superb for us all spring from Winning Edge Investments, joins us now to preview this race. Hello to you, Dean.
Good morning, Gareth. How are you going?
Good, thank you. We might go through each of the runners for the Golden Eagle for the 4-year-olds there tomorrow afternoon. Set down for 10 to 5 there over the 1,500 metres. First of all, Private Eye. Wide gate, but geez, he's in good form. Nash rides for Joe Pride.
Yeah, look, I think on raw ability and ratings, he's sort of the one to beat. He's just been flying this prep, culminating in a very impressive Epsom handicap win. He's been set for this. The big question is just going to be how the track's playing. It looks like it's going to be pretty rock hard. Rose Hill, and so he's going to need to be able to swoop from barrier 17 on the day. But as long as we're seeing the ability to swoop, then he's clearly a big chance.
I'm thunderstruck at $3.80. We know how good he is here in Victoria. Can he take that form to Sydney?
Yeah, look, he's been impressive in 2 Group 1s as prep with lightweights. Winning the 2-rack last start with a strong finish. They weren't the strongest Group 1s, and he was down on the weights. But, the times and sectionals and way he did it was impressive. Yeah, he's got the ability, but it's his first run the Sydney way of going at Rose Hill, which can be unforgiving. So, there's a little bit of risk there, despite being a talented horse.
Can Agon win for New Zealand at a big price? Jason Collett rides for the Baker Forsman team.
He's a good enough horse. He won the Hobartville impressively as a 3-year-old, and he ran a really good fourth first up in the Memsey this prep. But when he sort of ran 6th in the round with Guineas, the track was too firm. The other times that he sort of fouled, the explanation is usually been that the track's too firm. And so I think, unfortunately, he's the kind of horse who, if it was a soft 6, I'd be very keen on him, but I think the track might be a bit too hard for him.
All right, then. So we move to Apache Chase. Now, he defeated the favourite for this race for a long time in Ayrton in Queensland. Can he lead all of the way in a Golden Eagle for Jimmy Byrne and Desley Forster? Yeah,
look, he's a really strong on pacer. Like you said, he's defeated the likes of Ayrton and Emerald Kingdom. Absolutely, he can measure up here. It's a tough race to lead all the way in, but Sunline nearly did it a couple of years ago, and she wasn't really a 1,500-metre horse at all. So as long as the track's favouring on paces, then he's a big chance.
Asar's at a big price. Is he at 100 to 1 and $22 the place? Can he figure?
I just don't think he's quite good enough. He's a solid kind of Group 3 horse, but I think there's a few better in this race.
What about AIM for the Snowdens, and young Atkins picks up the ride there on this galloper?
Yeah, look, he was very impressive winning the Silver Eagle first up. He rounded up a lot of these horses, and he won the Magic Millions 3-year-old by a couple of lengths earlier in the year in a similar fashion. He just loves dry tracks, so he gets the perfect track. I think the negative, unfortunately, is Hugh Bowman, who rode him so well in the Silver Eagle, is obviously sticking with I'm Thunderstruck. So that's probably the negative. But look, if he can get some clear running and clear air in the straight, he'll be absolutely swooping home, and he can win it at $41.
Amish Boy, he deserves to win a race like this. He gets a middle gate for Mara Eustace, and Kathy O'Hara takes the ride.
Yeah, look, he's got a couple of very good runs on his resume. He's run third in a new market, and a number of sort of group and black type placings. He was just fair, I thought, in the Silver Eagle, and he sort of just gets a long way back. So I think he's sort of a place chance at best. All
right, then what about Exo Boom, who was a bit of a tip around for Exo Boom, and he flashed down the outside to win last week.
Yeah, I think that was a couple of grades lower than this. He sort of was a bit outclassed in the Silver Eagle, and sort of when he faced the best company, he's been found out. So I think there's a few better.
All right, then we move on to Ellsberg. Josh Parr takes the ride, $9 inside gate.
Yeah, look, he rates all right. He did run second in the Silver Eagle. I think that he's a better horse, fresh, and just for that reason, I'm preferring a couple of others to him. But he's going to be on pace, and he's going to be there for a long way.
Can Love Tap win?
I think a few will outclass him. I thought it was a pretty weak Shannon Stakes, and he sort of had a bit of every chance and sort of beaten the length. So I think some others are going to find him out.
What about, as we move on now to Count de Rupee for the Price team?
Yeah, look, I think he's some chance. He was an impressive winner first up, beating Zushak, and then, he was a pretty good third in the Silver Eagles, and, that form, I think, can hold up reasonably well in this race. So I think he's some hope, but he's another who's sort of going to get a long way back and stuck in the ruck from barrier 4.
What do you make of the former French galloper now with Annabelle Neesham in Law of Indices? Tommy Berry takes the ride.
I'd say he's the best of the imported runners. He won a 600k race at Deauville over 1,400 metres, 2 starts back. But the main thing about all of the imports, I think, is they all look to me like they're soft track horses. And I just think this rock hard Rosal track's going to make it hard for them to win.
Yeah. And what about Maximel, who's also a former European galloper, now with Johnny O'Shea?
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk for him. I'm still just a bit of a query. I usually love the imports, certainly when they come and raid our staying races, but these are sort of the Northern Hemisphere, 3-year-olds, and they sort of they failed 2 years ago when they all came, and so I'm just risking them on the basis that we haven't seen them, and it is a pretty strong field this year.
Now we're going through the Golden Eagle market. And also the runners there for tomorrow's big race with Dean Evans, and just looking at, as my computer just freezes, an ideal opportunity here. Here we go. We're ready to go now. Golden Eagle, and I think we're up to Revev de Vol at $51, another former European galloper now for Annabelle Neesham, but it's at a big price here, Dean.
Yeah, big price, and they're probably having a throw at the stumps here. I think he's been brought over to stay. Won a 2,000-metre listed race at the Curragh and ran second in a Group 3 over 2,000. I think the 1,500 would be a bit short for it, but look for him to be hitting the line late.
What about Forbidden Love, the mare? Can she bounce back to some of her best form?
I think she needs it a bit wetter to do that. Her peak rating runs have been the Gosford Guineas and the Surround Stakes, and there's just been the edge out of the track, and I think she just hasn't been able to break through this prep because the tracks have been really hard, and she's going to get the same again tomorrow.
Vangelic, I know you've been a big fan of hers. She's at $23 for Timmy Clark and the Waterhouse and Bott team.
Yeah, look, she's had 2 starts with track distance range. She won the Group 2 Golden Pendants, and she was a very unlucky 4th in the Cornwall Classic that I think she potentially could have won or run second in with any luck. So, look, I do think she maps really nicely for this. She's going to be perfectly drawn and just sit behind probably the 2 leaders, and she does have the ability to win this at good odds.
Can Media Award win the Golden Eagle, Dean?
She was all right in the invitation first up. She was solid enough, but to me, she just gave the impression that probably got one more run, I think, to get to full fitness, and then probably your third up over 2,000 metres, what's going to be most ideal for her, but she'll be hitting the line. What
about a tissue at $26 for Chris Waller and Glyn Schofield?
Yeah, she's sort of a funny one. She won the Bill Ritchie, which was a pretty solid form race. She's got 2,000-metre form in New Zealand. She was only beaten 1.9 lengths in the Epsom. I think from a class perspective, there's sort of a handful that are better than her, but I think she can be thereabouts.
All right, then, any of the emergencies? I know our Playboy gains are started at 100 to 1, but should we put them in our first fours or trifectas?
If it was wet for Al Playboy, he's a very, very good horse, but I think it's too dry for him. If Wheelhouse was lucky enough to get a run, I actually think it's potentially a winning chance. It was only beaten 1.6 lengths in a round with Guineas after racing very wide, no cover. Only beaten 2 lengths in a Roseville Guineas. It actually hit the line really well in the Sydney Stakes, first up against the older horses, the 8th quickest last 600 of the day. So it's actually a good roughie if it manages to somehow sneak into the field. All
right then, mate. Have you got a Derby special for us, or do you like anything tomorrow at Flemington?
Look, the Derby, I think, Forgot You just has had the right prep for it. I think he's the one to beat, and Jungle Magnate's my best roughie there. And probably the race I'm keenest on is the Cantala Stakes, where I think it looks a really clear 2-horse race to me, and I'm betting around the favourite, Mr. Brightside. I think Arameo, who was such a good second in the Epsom handicap, rates really highly on top here, and Superstorm, who has been good all prep and sort of raced really well on the 2 rack, charging home for third with a big weight. I think those 2 are great bets at sort of $8.50 and $11 each.
Great stuff, RSN 927 listeners. Jump on the Winning Edge Investments website. If you follow the prompts, you just type in RSN 927 or RSN in capital letters, and you get 50% off. It's the best deal going around this spring. Good on you, Dean. Thanks for that, mate.
Thanks, Gareth. Enjoy tomorrow.
There's Dean Evans there from Winning Edge Investments.